Good morning everyone. This is Nageshwara, chemistry faculty. Today we are going to discuss about the topic matter in our surroundings. Before going to discuss about the topic matter in our surroundings, let us try to discuss about what is meant by matter. What is meant by matter? As we look our surroundings, you can see different type of objects. These objects are having different type of shapes, different type of sizes, and at the same time when you are observing these objects, they have some mass. Let us take duster. It is having some mass and it occupies some space, therefore it comes under matter. Let us take chalk piece. When you observe chalk piece, it is also occupy some space and have some mass. Means what we can say means matter is nothing but anything which occupies some space and have some mass, that we can call as matter. We can see in our surroundings different type of matters, but they have different type of sizes, different type of shapes, Now regarding this matter, many of the scientists, they are trying to know the properties about that matter. Like this, in olden days, ancient philosophers, they are trying to know the properties of the matter. And finally what they said means, this matter, every matter contains Panchatattva. Every matter is made up of Panchatattva. That means in Sanskrit what we can call Panchabhota. Panchabhota means air, water, sky, earth and fire. That means every matter is compulsory having these 5 Panchtattvas. Like this, modern scientists also trying to know the properties of the matter. Like this, in this chapter, we are going to learn the properties of the matter by seeing the first one is physical nature of matter. Physical nature of matter. In this physical nature of matter, we are going to discuss about the first property is matter is made up of small particles. Matter is made up of small particles. Now let us discuss about this matter is made up of small particles by using one activity. Let us take little amount of water in a glass. Now just add a spoon of glucose or sugar or salt. After adding this glucose, just stir it continuously. Now you can see there is no glucose particle. That means these glucose particles are dissolved in water. Now based on this activity, what we can say, before adding glucose, this is a water, but after adding glucose, you can observe you can't see any glucose particles. Then where the glucose particles, what is happening? Like this, what we can say based on this activity means the glucose particles are dissolved in water, means it occupies the space between the water. That means what we can say now, the particles inside the matter are very small. This is what the physical nature of matter. The first point is matter is made up of small particles. Let us discuss the second point is how small are these particles. Means in the first point what we discussed, matter is made up of small particles. Now the second point is how small are these particles. That means these particles are very small. Then how to conclude the second physical nature of matter. Means let us discuss one more activity. In this activity I am going to take small amount of copper compound. In this one I am adding a little bit amount of water. Now you can see the color of this water is thick blue color. It is thick blue color. Now from this solution I am taking another glass of water. Out of this liquid I am just adding a little bit amount of this copper sulfate solution. Just this is glass 1, this is glass 2. Now from this solution I am going to transfer another 10 ml to another glass of water. After adding, if you observe, that means here in this activity, first I took one glass and I added copper sulfate solution. It is thick blue in color. Out of that solution, I am taking 10 ml of the blue color solution and I am adding another glass of water. From this glass of water, I am transferring another 10 ml. Now you can see light blue color. Means a little bit amount or a little bit quantity of matter you can transfer into more amount of water. That means I am taking the small amount of copper sulfate which we can dissolve in maybe 1000 ml of water. Like this we can make different type of solutions. That means based on this activity what we can conclude that now these particles are very small. Now let us discuss about the characteristics of the particles. In these characteristics, the first one is particles of matter have spaces in between them. Particles of matter have spaces in between them. Means already in the first point, how small are these particles, in that one already we discussed one activity. Take one glass of water, add some amount of glucose or sugar or water. When you observe this water, glucose water, you cannot find any glucose particles here because the glucose particles are occupied the spaces between the water. Based on this activity, we can conclude that particles of matter have spaces between them. And you can identify after adding glucose particles, if you check clearly, the level of the water is not increased. Why it is happened? Because after adding these glucose particles, that water contains gaps. That gaps are filled by the amount of glucose what we are adding. So that we can conclude that particles of matter have spaces in between them. Now let us see the second characteristics of the particles of matter. That is, particles of matter are continuously moving. particles of matter are continuously moving. This also we can explain by using one example. Let us take an incense stick. Let us take an incense stick. This incense stick, if you light means it will burn, it will start burning. And just take that lightning incense stick and keep it in any one corner of the room. After some time, if you go another corner of the room and just go and check, you can feel the smell of the incense stick. This is because the only reason is when you lighten the incense stick, the temperature increases and particles are moving freely. Because when you are increasing the temperature, the kinetic energy of the particles also increases. Therefore, the time is keep on going, you can feel the smell in any corner of the room. Based on this example, we can conclude that particles of matter are continuously moving. Now, let us discuss about the last and final characteristics of the particles of matter. That is, particles of matter attract each other. Attract each other means this characteristics also we can explain very easily by seeing examples. Let us take, here I am taking a chalk piece and a pen. Now these two are comes under a matter. Now I am going to prove that particles of matter attract each other. Yes. For example, this is a chalk piece. I am going to break this chalk piece by applying some force. See. Yes. I can able to break this chalk piece by applying some force. The same force when I am applying a pen, I can't able to break because the pen, it contains particles, the chalk piece also contains particles. But the attraction force between the particles inside the chalk piece is different is there in the pen. Because I can't able to break the pen because the particles are more attracted in pen. But there is less attraction forces between the particles inside the chalk piece. Therefore, I can easily break down a chalk piece instead of a pen. Based on this example, we can conclude that particles of matter attract each other. This is about the basics or the physical nature of matter. Based on this, all this physical nature of matter and characteristics of the particles of matter, we can conclude that every matter is made up of small particles. These small particles are very small. And next, these particles of matter have spaces in between them. And these particles of matter are continuously moving. And these particles of matter attract each other. Thank you.